again, South Africa's Chris Aberdeen is holding up the Germans. He's holding up the more experienced German touring car riders. And as we heard earlier on from Graham Cooper, if you weren't with us, there is rumour and there is talk that Chris Aberdeen could well go over to Germany after his superb performance this morning, and the performance that he's putting up this afternoon will just add credibility to his superb drive here today. Out of West Bank, this circuit just under 4 kilometers long, and once again you can see that's Chris Aberdeen, Klaus Ludwig, Kurt Tim, Roland Ash, Chris Neeson, all involved in the action. That's the whole gaggle of BMWs, the whole of Mercedes-Benz rather. Okay, let's see what happened to Steve Soper. Down they come. Here's a battle. Klaus Ludwig and Kurt Tim, cars 1 and 2. Ludwig will not want the South African, the upstart, to get away from him. Absolutely superbly turned out motor cars. Very, very high-tech. The telemetry is absolutely incredible. But Aberdeen is doing a fine job. Roland Ash in car number 19. Last year's winner of this event. He's not going to win it today unless something really happens. That's the car of Chris Aberdeen in second place. Ahead of him, the BMW of the man in the lead, Johnny Chicota, the Venezuelan. And isn't it ironic how earlier in the day Roger was mentioning the fact that we had a scramble here to find Kurt Tim on the inside of Ludwig. He's got him. Great driving by Kurt Tim, who yesterday I saw put up an absolutely magnificent flying lap around this Kyalami race circuit in extreme temperatures. The track temperature well over 40 degrees yesterday, and it was about 35 degrees the air temperature, and it really was unbearably hot here yesterday until the thunderstorm came down and wrecked the afternoon proceedings. But thank goodness, after the German touring cars had gone out for their final qualifying positions. A little earlier on in the race, in fact, into the first corner on the first lap, this was Steve Soper. Ahead of him is Johnny Chicota, and there goes Soper. That's it, out of control. Off he goes, and watch him now get stuck in the sandpit. That's it. And that was the end of Steve Soper's challenge for the lead. He has got back on the circuit, and he is right at the back of the field at the moment. Chris Aberdeen is not letting Johnny Chicota get away from him. Kurt Tim up into third place, but Ludwig is challenging him once again. Klaus Ludwig, who loves the circuit, has been here many times before. We're now racing with Klaus Ludwig in the cockpit of that magnificent Mercedes machine. Just take you round. We're going up the Winfield Hill now. You can see the climb. They'll move to the right-hand side of the circuit, come up to West Bank, and they can take the outside line and then pull right in the defensive line on the inside of West Bank. Just clip the curve there. The curve still remains up there. Then down the mine shaft towards Continental Corner, and you can go around that one into Conti with your foot flat. You come round, and now you've got to hit the brake, perhaps even change down a gear and throw the car right, and then move to the outside of the circuit as you go up once again towards Brilliant Signs. Then you move across to the right-hand side of the circuit now as you get to what is possibly the fastest part of the circuit as you race down the Brilliant Signs hill into the total curve, onto the left and throw it across to the right. No longer crocodile clips and shark's teeth there. Then back again onto the left-hand side of the circuit, back to the right, back to the left, and then back to the right as you come into the main straight. And now you go back across onto the left-hand side of the circuit. So as you can see, it's very testing indeed. Very hard on the drivers, hard on the cars. And Kershaw, that car of Chris Aberdeen's, is being pulled away from now by Soper. But Kurt Tim, all of a sudden, is coming into the picture, Rog.
Yeah, he certainly is. He's got past Ludwig. He says, let me at him. We can't have this upstart, as you say, South African, to beat the pride of Germany there. We've got a Venezuelan leading a South African, leading a Dane, leading a German. So international motor racing, as we say, as well and truly returned to South Africa. And continuing that tonight down to the Vaal showgrounds, we've got the test match between the sprint cars of South Africa and the USA. They'll be going down to Klerksdorp. They're going down to Vereeniging next Friday night, and then Pretoria on next Saturday night. So they're out here for a three series test match. And here's the other international racing in front of us now. The Yellow Pages 200 is the second race in this event. It's 100 kilometers. It's 25 laps. At the moment, the order after 6 laps is Johnny Chicotto, 19 laps to go. In second position, he's 3 seconds behind now. It's Chris Aberdeen. We just hope he hasn't overdone it on those Michelin tires. Kurt Tim is coming along on the Bridgestone tires in the Mercedes. Klaus, there's Klaus in your shot now. He's on Bridgestones as well. And then we've got Roland Ash on Dunlop. Chris Nissen, the other Dane in this race. He won at Nürburgring a little earlier in the year in a BMW, the 24-hour race there. He's along in 6th spot. Other good news for South Africa. Tony Viana is lying 7th. He's in the other one of the Winfield BMWs, lying 7th at the moment and doing very well. And we've got Farouk Danga is in 15th position. Great performance there by Farouk Danga.
Fastest man on the circuit, fastest left foot up by our very own Chris Aberdeen, a time of 1 minute 29.44, and that really is a very fast lap indeed, and he's going superbly well. Steve Soper has moved up to 18th place, and let's see what times he's doing. Steve Soper is just 3 thousandths of a second slower than the man leading at the moment, and that is his teammate Johnny Chicotto.
Right, here come the problems now for Aberdeen. Team is bringing Ludwig with him, and back in with Ludwig as he looked down the hill. Ahead of him he's got Kurt Tim, the Dane. Very fast in these races overseas in Germany, and Aberdeen just ahead of them. Touching the brakes as they go into Conti, and they turn right. They've got one of those high curves. As I said, the other one on the second of the top foot is still kept there for drainage as they go left through Conti and then over the brilliant Sign Hill and down the total, straight down to total curve. What's this? This is the fastest part of the circuit, 240 kilometers an hour. Pulling 2 Gs, they go through these corners. These tires get an immense grip. They're on slick tires, and now they start to use the outside curves. Regulation now for Grand Prix racing. That's why they've all been changed. And one of the disadvantages which they're moaning about is the dirt, as you saw there now, being hauled onto the circuit by those tires, being dragged onto the circuit and starting to break windscreen. Johnny Chicotto broke a windscreen, so did Klaus Ludwig very badly, as Louis pointed out in the first race. Big stars all over the windscreen. That's the windscreen wiper in the center there. And there's another little trick that you do actually keep, Debbie, the BMW of Chicotto using Yokohamas. They like a dirty circuit, lots of rubber and oil and dirt on the track. They actually work best then on a very hot circuit. They didn't felt this pressure before. He's had it from the likes of Van der Merwe and Terry Moss and the others, and he can certainly hang in there. It's a matter of tyres. The performance of these cars is so even. Tim's got a lot of experience, of course, in this form of racing, and he's prepared to put his nose in and push you out of the way. If you don't want to get out of the way, he's going to do it for you. These are such high-tech motor cars. Basically, these bodies are sent to the bodybuilders like AMG, who put those tubular chassis in. As we go in once again with Ludwig, he's lying 3rd in this little battle, 4th in the race. Chicotto's, to all intents and purposes, vanished into the far distance. He's 6 seconds ahead. There you are, 6.28 seconds ahead of Aberdeen, but look at close. Here Tim is, the Dane, is right on the Springbok's tail. And Ludwig, we're in there with him at the moment, looking ahead there as they go through 2 Gs, go wide to the outside, and this is where the new Grand Prix circuit is going to join the circuit right there now. And you can see as they come through here, all the stands on the outside, you'll see that stands that are going to be full to capacity for the Yellow Pages Grand Prix on the 1st of March. And Aberdeen, I must say, he's not overawed by the occasion or the level of driver or reputation at all. Chris Aberdeen won the Porsche Turbo Cup here against all the Germans before. If Tim goes for it again, he's got him. Just like that, he planned it all. Aberdeen left a little bit of a gap, and it's going to be hard to get past. Ludwig, I don't think, is going to be able to actually get hold of Aberdeen there. Is he going to re-challenge? Yes, he's looking to re-challenge him. He knows the circuit like the back of his hand. He's won races here in single-seaters, in saloon cars, in turbocharged Audi, and he's a very experienced driver. Is the Springbok Aberdeen. Right, we're starting to move up there on Helge Probst. He's had a couple of spins and went into the barriers yesterday. He's keeping well out of the way this time as the high-speed train for 2nd, 3rd and 4th comes through. Steve Soper's now moved up to 14th position, just ahead of Farouk Danga, putting in a great drive there, a little further back in the speedy car sales BMW. And it's Tim Aberdeen staying on the pace there. We've still got quite a long way to go. We've got 14 laps to go. 11 have been completed. We are now on lap 12. So we'll have 13 to do after this. There's the bent Mercedes. It's got a big ding on the driver's door. The tyres, I'm sure those engines are still all able to rev way over 9,000. They push out maximum horsepower about 380 horses at 8,800 RPM. And what high-tech motors they are. As I was saying, the AMG takes the bodies and then they build these tubular chassis into the cars, very well supported. You'll see how rigid they are when they hit curves. There's no flexing of those bodies at all. Aberdeen stays away from those curves, but you can see the slipping and sliding that's starting to happen now. We're on lap 15 and Steve Soper is chasing. Steve Soper is starting to come up through the field. He's now up to 12th, and there he is, really hurrying. We're just watching him now, a man at work in a hurry, and he's lapping at the moment at 1:29.6, and that is the fastest lap in this race so far. The lap record stands at 1:29.05. Johnny Giacotto did that in the first race, but Sober is right down there on the lap record and really trying hard.
Side line, he takes the gravel. Talk about using every bit of the road. He goes farming. He just misses the wall. Dramatic stuff. Kurt Koenig loses his place as well. So the change goes on there. Ralph Callerans. Kurt Koenig is now up to ahead of Ralph Callerans, but Steve Soper has gone past both of them. Now, who's in front of him, you might ask? The Formula One man, Bert Schneider, and he is just 4 seconds ahead of him. So Soper is a man on a mission here. He wants to get as far ahead as possible. That's dangerous on the inside. Over there going in, it is unbelievable the way these drivers go into West Bank. They try all sorts of different maneuvers, and it's one of the things that I've always been advocating, and that is, people say there's no overtaking maneuvers at this particular Kyalami circuit. Believe you me, the Formula One drivers and drivers of this caliber, they will find overtaking maneuvers, and that's what makes it so good for them. It's no thrill for them to race in a straight line. It's easy enough for them. It's when they have to overtake cars in positions where most people think it's almost impossible. Well, Steve Soper's running away. Now in 8th position is Steve Soper, and Klaus Ludwig is the man challenging. But it looks to me from the shot that we can see right now that Chris Aberdeen is getting closer and closer, and there's the confirmation. Aberdeen now fastest man on the circuit for the second time in this race, and he is chasing. He's obviously held those tyres off, allowed them to cool down slightly if that's at all possible in conditions like we've got here today. But down the mine shaft they go, 10 tenths, some of them 11 tenths.
So we've got Giacotto now at the moment. He's 13 seconds in the lead, well in the lead as Soper moves up now into 8th. He's in 8th position. He'll have Schneider ahead of him, and it's not too far ahead at all. We'll tell you right now as they come past. He's put in a tremendous drive here as that man in your picture now. 19 laps have gone, 24 kilometers of this race to go. Things are starting to happen as they come up the hill there, and that is Chris Nissen getting ahead of Roland Ash, or trying to get ahead of him. They're fighting out the moment for 5th position. That's the Dane. Very badly burnt Dane. He had a horrific fire. They didn't think he'd survive it at a Japanese circuit in a World Sports Car Championship race over there. And he's putting the pressure on Roland Ash now. Ash is on Dunlop tyres. Chris Nissen very quick. He's on the Pirelli. He's the first of the Pirelli runners. It's been a tyre war out here as well. 4 different manufacturers. We've had the Bridgestones and Yokohamas, Michelin's, Dunlops and Pirelli. So we've got 5 of them in here. As they go down through total curve, and Nissen is looking for a way to get past Ash. He's found it, but he hasn't. He just closes the door, and he'll be getting frustrated in that car there. He might not have the acceleration out of the corner, has he? He loses half a car length as he comes out, but he's going to dive at him as he goes through budget from another angle. Ash closes the door, used a very late line. Of course, he won here overall last year. Roland Ash has won the World Porsche Turbo Cup as well. He had an unbroken run of many, many races, did Roland Ash. So experienced driver, 41 years old, as Nissen is looking for a place. He's having the door closed on him all the time. And that's not doing the tyres any good at all. And that's goodbye Roland Ash as he comes through. The pressure was on him. He relaxed for a moment, and Chris Nissen was past him. This is the man who won the 24-hour race, the saloon car race at the Nürburgring in June. Chris Nissen from Denmark in the BMW M3. So let's have a look now. We've got 5 laps to go. It's Johnny Chikota. He's nearly 14 seconds ahead of Tim, but Aberdeen is still in the picture. And he's being chased by Ludic. The gap has opened up just a wee bit there. And I think we can expect Aberdeen to start charging now. He's 0.8 of a second behind Kurt Tim, the Dane, and I think we might just find him challenging. Here's Roland Ash, number 19 at Meridian Mercedes, finance company backing this, Evertier, one of the West Bank companies backing this car in this race as they go down through Total Curve. And Ash seems to have just lost his bit of sparkle there. He was suffering from brake trouble in the first race. We're in with Chris Aberdeen. And that is it's Kurt Tim just ahead of him. Is it him? It is. He seemed to be going very slowly as they went through there. And he's starting to challenge. And we've got him right on his tail at the moment. And this is the one. This could be a second place for Chris Aberdeen. Look at all the broken chip marks on the screen. That screen, and he's pushing him hard. And Chris Aberdeen is planning this race to a nicety. Bridgestone tyres on the Tim car. And the Michelin tyres are working well, and it is becoming a tyre war, and that's why we're mentioning it. As he goes into, he's having the door closed on him, and he'll come at him from another angle. He knows the circuit very well, does Chris Aberdeen. And we're into the final 4 laps at lap 22. We've got 23, 24, and 25 to do, and this race will be over. Let's have a look as he closes up and as he goes through. Can't he touch the brakes? High curve there, they don't touch that one. Coming out all the time. Soper's now got to 8. He's behind Schneider. Chips on the windscreen, and he's pushing, as you can see. And everything's working well there for Aberdeen. They come up and slow some of the slower traffic as they come down the road. It looks like it's either, I think it's Peter Lance just ahead of them. Peter Lance from South Africa.
Out of Yellow Pages, up towards the Top Sport S's. There it is again. He just goes slightly wide, throws up that gravel, and you can see in the right-hand side of that windscreen, it's got a great mark for a big stone, obviously, has been churned up. Oh, and there's a puff of smoke. That's the end of Aberdeen's race. There goes the engine. Chris Aberdeen's pushed it too hard. And that's the end of Chris Aberdeen. Damn it, he says. That's the end of my race. That's the end of Chris Aberdeen. What a great pity. The car letting him down up the hill. And there you are, the first retirement due to engine failure. And that engine just exploded. So, Johnny Chikota, Kurt Tim, and now Klaus Ludwig. That's the way the situation stands at the moment. And oh, and a lot of smoke coming out of the second car there. That's Ganga. Farouk Ganga. That's his car that's puffing smoke. As we watch the leader, Johnny Chikota, heading his way up towards the Yellow Pages corner. And that will be a tremendous victory. We'll take you through on the final lap for Johnny Chikota. He won the first one. Can he hold it together for this, the final lap, and the end of 200 kilometers of superb motor racing here at Kyalami this afternoon? There goes Chikota, just keeping it under control, but you saw what happened to Aberdeen. He was going so well, was Chris Aberdeen. In fact, he was the fastest man on the circuit, and then one puff of smoke and the end of his race. Out of West Bank for the last time. Down the IGI mine shaft into the left-handed Continental Tires corner. And this boy is really going. And he is so smooth. That's what is so important. He is so smooth. All the other cars have hit the curb and gone into the dust. He is just so smooth. He knows which racing line he wants. He sits high up in the car, and he is going to get a very well-deserved victory. Down brilliant signs into Total Curve, and Johnny Chikota in the Winfield BMW exits the last corner for the very final time. Here he goes, out of the last corner, up to the checkered flag, and there it is, the checkered flag. Victory for the day, 2 in a row, and superb stuff by the Venezuelan Johnny Chikota. Kurt Tim lying in second place, and Klaus Ludwig is third. Ludwig will try all he can out the final corner. He's not going to get through, even though the man in front of him, Kurt Tim, goes wide. Tim comes through second, Roland Nash comes through third, and in fourth position it will be Chris Neeson when he eventually comes round Steve Soper. In fact, Steve Soper is coming through in fifth place, and that is a tremendous drive from Steve Soper, which in fact could still even give him a rostrum position with Chris Aberdeen going out. Although I think Klaus Ludwig, that man there, will end up coming second or third for the day, second for the day, and Tim will come in third. Look at that. That is a tired, very, very hot man, Klaus Ludwig, as he goes around the circuit. You can see
of this second heat, Johnny Ducotta overall winner in the Winfield BMW M3, a turn up for the books. It was all Mercedes last year. Kurt Tim from Denmark, second position in the AMG Mercedes. Klaus Ludwig third, just too much for the tyres. He lets go, he went too wide, and off he went at Nashua Corner just before the start.
Entry for Chris Aberdeen, beating all the other Germans and the overseas guys in that particular event.
In the Toyota Sports Celebrity Race, it's the Iron Man himself, Montgomery. He took it, and ahead of Oberhauser, and then Jason Roberts, Wayne Smith the motocrosser, and Rugby came next ahead of Golf, who had a bit of a